Welcome to the 98ers. I can't believe you still do that, Stash.
Oh, come on. You know I sell out for this shit.
We've got the Stash. We've got Thomas Schooley, the professor, and we've got Mr. Mark Big Mac Romano joining us tonight. Guys, game one of the ALCS. The Rays have won 2-1. A offensive juggernaut of a game. What'd you guys see out there today? Good way to start a series. That's what I say.
Well, I mean, I definitely called it, right? 2-1. That's exactly what I said. Low scoring. Not.
We're gonna have to check.
Not at all. Not at all. No,
Somebody,
not at all what I expected. No, not at all what I expected whatsoever. I mean, it's what I expected kind of from Snell, but he managed his way out of it and didn't give up any runs. And their guy came out and just pitched lights out. We just were able to take advantage of a couple of small mistakes here.
Yeah, I like the fact that Snell pitched well. I mean, pitched 5 innings, 105 pitches. It took him some time to get through, but he held the trash cans down or just a run, which is good. And they got 9 hits and 1 run, so that's the good news. I don't know. I'm just happy the Rays won. I'm not a Houston fan, as you probably could tell. So go Rays.
To me, another one-run game. Seems like that's what the Rays are going to be known for in this 2020 season. And on top of it, I thought they played pretty good. Leaving that many batters on the bases, you would think you're gonna lose a game. But this year's different with that pitching staff. So I think even with the jam that we had up in the 8th, that they had confidence going in with the pitcher coming in and with the bases loaded and got the double play, and that was it.
Man, you can't understate both of those double plays. And, I mean, the analytics, man. I mean, sure, they called it like a lucky, or they got unlucky. No, he doubled back. The commentator basically doubled back right away. It's like, well, you got to get up to analytics guys because they had a guy right there. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't lucky. That was – the shift was on. They know where this guy hits. Hot shot, boom, he's right there. And then Adames steps on the back, boom, right there. I mean, that's good defense. That's knowing your spray charts. That's good baseball. That's the baseball in 2020. And the Rays are really fucking good at it.
But he led the league. He was second in the league and led the playoffs in sacrifice flies. So to be able to get him to go into a double play is pretty good on our pitching staff there.
You know what's great about this team is you also have another guy like Zanino who is the go-ahead run tonight. A guy who obviously has had his struggles at the plate, to say the least. But that's the beauty of this team, is that every single night it's like a different person. Once again, shooter Randy coming a big home run,
Randy with a dandy.
Yeah. So
Macho Man. Yeah.
It's kind of fun to watch, because every single night I feel like it's a different guy for this team. So that's the great thing about it right now. They're on a roll, and hopefully we can continue this through the rest of the series.
Yeah, good point. You had Diaz with a hit. You had Kiermaier with a big game. You had Lau that had a hit in this game. So right down the order, you don't know who's going to kind of step up for the Rays. I thought Kiermaier played really well today. And he kind of led that rally off in the bottom of the 7th when he got that double to kick it off. And that was one of those kind of key moments in the game where the Rays could have broken it open right there in the bottom of the 7th, because it was KK with the double, and then Brosseau got hit by the pitch. And then they had a Rosarina up and Lau up next, and they both struck out. So I was like, I hope that's not one of those moments that we're going to think about here in the next kind of 30 minutes. But then it was that top of the 8th where Luke came in, the winning pitcher of tonight, if Thomas is correct, comes in the game. First time pitching in a week and a half, and hits Brantley with like the second pitch. And then strikes out Bregman, but then walks Correa, and then Tucker singles. And then we're thinking, but that is when Cash was able to come in and change him out. Actually, he was able to change him for Tucker, but he didn't. Tucker stayed in because that was 3, yeah. And then because that's when Castillo came in and had that timely double play where the Rays were shift perfectly, as you mentioned. But I thought that was definitely a key moment in this game.
No, for sure. Well, and also I think the decision there by the Astros not to push the play at the plate there, I feel like that was, it was only 1 out. You know what I mean? I might have sent them there. I don't know. Game 1, but you're only down by 2. You still got 2 on with 2 outs, and a guy that can still put the ball in play at the plate. I don't know. You look back at things like that in tight games with the Rays. They had their bases loaded after that, right? So or they had an opportunity after that too. So it's tough, but I don't know. You got to try and force them to make a play there. If you ask me, you kind of gave them an easy situation there, even though it's bases loaded. You still kind of gave them a little bit of an easier situation, if you ask me, by not trying to force that play at the plate.
Real quick, that comment from Johnny B, getting off the couch. That takes a lot for Johnny B to get off the couch. So,
no shit.
I love Johnny B, but
man.
He raised up tonight. Hey, Johnny, we got like consecutive games going on, so
I don't know.
Have to wrap that knee. Ice it up.
Something, bro.
Now, I agree with you, Stash. Like, especially with runs being at such a premium tonight, like, push the envelope, right? Make a play. Force the action a little bit. It wasn't like this game was 8-7. It was.
It's like the fucking water boy here. It's the last game of the year. You can't hold anything back now. You know what I mean? Like, let's fucking go here.
Yeah, it did make sense why they didn't send them in it. That could be something that comes back in the series and haunts them. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe game 2 tomorrow they get more aggressive. But I think that could come back and haunt them. And the bases loaded.
Yeah, in general, not being able to pull it out. But again, our guys are kind of filthy too. Like, they were talking about it. They went up and were jacking home runs and putting up 8 runs a game against the A's, and then 1 run tonight.
It's that pitching. That pitching is unbelievable.
And great situational defense on top of it. And they talked about it multiple times. But this is what the Rays have done for a long time. It doesn't matter who's behind the bench, and they've funneled good talent there that fit their system and good on the field and on the bench. And this is what they do, and they're the best at it. And they just showed again, they completely cooled off one of the hottest teams in baseball. Game 1, like a cooler coming at a poker table. Here we are. We're the coolers, man. You know what I mean? We got a stable full of guys that can throw 98, and we'll cool your ass without even thinking twice about it, man. Just sit at the table, you're done. That's all there is to it.
Shooter's still trying to analyze that what you just said. You can see it going. You can see it going, and the wheels going in his head. But I mean, the Astros had 3 players who have had 55 playoff games, so they are very veteran. They are very veteran in the playoff.
It just makes your face look like a nutsack, just so you know. It looks like it's a full-on scrotum face. Shooter.
So just to have that kind of veteran leadership on that bench over there in the Astros dugout is huge for them, but it didn't help them tonight.
Well, they even mentioned it there in the ninth inning. You know, how many plate appearances in ninth inning and plate appearances did this team have? And I mean, Castillo. I think if Castillo hadn't pitched last 3 out of 4 days or something like that, he probably would have been a lot sharper. And you don't even see a runner on with him, you know what I mean? So, the main thing I think tomorrow, going into tomorrow's game being another day, is that the Rays have got to be more effective when they get their guys on base, because we had multiple opportunities tonight in this game to really pad the score. Or Randy, Lau, both of those guys come up in clutch weight, and I mean, Rosarenko wasn't really off in his other 2 at bats. Yeah, he struck out, but he wasn't far off. And man, that guy went filthy after he got that homer. Like they were just like keying on him and Lau. So I mean, yeah, it's nice to see Zuni come through and get that clutch hit and get that second run. But I think going through in a 7-game series, you're gonna need 5 or 6 runs to really feel comfortable and not wear the hell out of your arms in the bullpen. If you want your stable to stay fresh, you can't ride them hard, put them away wet, and then go saddle them up the next day. You know what I mean? You've got to be able to give them some days off in between appearances. And that comes from the offense getting out there and putting up some runs and letting them let their pitchers get down. Like, you know, Snell got into hundreds, but it would have been nice to see him get halfway through the 6th or maybe even to the 7th with over 100 pitches, you know? So, I think that's the key. That the bats got to come alive for the Rays here to give their pitching a little bit of breathing room.
Well, we still haven't seen playoff Adames either. I mean, he was close
tonight. He had 2 walks tonight. So I mean, he was seeing the ball well. He's
good for a couple of home runs usually. So I gotta imagine it's gonna break out for him anytime here.
Yeah. Well, and Lau had that little squib kind of hit. I mean, he got on base a couple of times. He's figuring ways now, and that's a good sign for a guy that's been slumping, is finding ways on base, even if they aren't really hot contact or hitting for velocity. He's finding ways to get on base, and that just gets in your head in a positive way, so you have a more positive mentality when you go to the plate, and that's always good for guys that are slumping.
Yeah, do you guys think it's an advantage with what the Rays do? Like typically their starters are only going 5 or 6, and then they're able to kind of spread it out and have almost 1 pitcher per inning the rest of the game. Do you think since they're playing these games consecutively, that's going to end up helping the Rays? Or do you think it would help if they had a guy like Garrett Cole that can just take, well, maybe not Cole, but somebody that can go like the distance and play?
If the bullpen wasn't this deep, I would say it'd be beneficial if we had someone who could go deep into it. But with the bullpen we have, I think they're used to it. And with the shortened season, I think that's helped them. So I think we could go either way if necessary. But definitely you want a pitcher that can go that far into the game.
Yeah, and I'm curious for any like baseball players that are out there, when you're pitching like 1 inning, but every day, or maybe like 3 days straight, 4 days straight, but you're only pitching 1 inning a game, does that kind of like keep you in the groove, or is it better to have days off and not pitch at all? I'm just curious if anyone out there has played baseball. I wish Chris was here. I know, Stash, you played in Little League. What do you say?
I mean, I would just say pitching. If as long as they keep under 20 pitches per outing, I don't see why they can't pitch every day. Honestly, you know what I mean. And they all were pretty close to that mark tonight. So that is the good thing, is that if they do come in, they haven't been taxed. They haven't had to go to multiple guys per inning. They have been able to stick to their basic timeline. So that will help them for sure. But I still think that you want to try and get some hits and get some runs and kind of take some of the pressure off that bullpen, at least early on in this series, so.
Hey, good question here by Joey Hills. I think we have some accurate data here from the interwebs. Let me hide your comment here so we don't hide Thomas behind you. You got McCullers and Morton going tomorrow, scheduled to go game 2. Don't forget that game starts at 4:07 Eastern time, so we'll be on a little bit earlier tomorrow. Who do you think has the advantage going into game 2?
No, Rays definitely do. I mean, they're playing off plenty right now, so they're in good shape. I think Morton's going to pitch well tomorrow against his old team, right?
Yep.
Back in the day, he was on the trash can team from a couple years ago, so knows these guys well, knows what their strengths, weaknesses are, and so. I mean, McCullers is coming off a pretty major injury, so it's interesting that he's pitching tomorrow. But I think the Rays are in good shape, and I'll tell you what, if they can win tomorrow and so they go up 2-0, obviously they're in the driver's seat. I think that I'm not sure if there's somebody on this team that can pitch 9 innings right now as a starter. Maybe there is, but I'm not sure if they would even go that route. Talking about starting rotations and guys going long. I know they're all capable. I mean, Snell certainly is, Glasnow, Morton, but I think probably the max they would go is 6-7 innings. I would think, even in a good night, just the way it's all going with the truncated playoff and everything else. But I don't know what you guys think, but I think even the best of starts probably be 7 innings max, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think you want 6 minimum out of these guys, and that's what I'm saying, like 6, but with a few runs, so you're not like afraid of having to get guys up and warm them up, and you're holding on. And situationally, like especially in that 5th and 6th inning, you want to have a little bit of breathing room up for these guys, just to let them. They're playing in a bubble. It's not the regular postseason. No fans. There's a lot more stress involved here. There's not a lot of time in between games for them to take a breath, get away from the game a little bit. So anything you can do to reduce the stress on these guys, the pitchers in particular, because they have so much pressure on them anyways coming out of the bullpen, I think that's only going to benefit your team, in a 7-game series against a team that, as good as you can pitch, they can hit. So, and they don't strike out a lot, and they didn't strike out a lot tonight. The Rays made the Rays work for their outs, but this team doesn't strike out a lot. So you can only play with fire for so long till you get burned. As far as letting them get on base.
The Rays only struck out, so was it 5 times? The Astros struck out tonight, which is, pretty unusual for a game nowadays. So yeah,
especially for Snell.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, he struck out 2 and then 3 the rest of the way. So yeah, they'll make you work for it, no question. Charlie
Morton went 5 innings last game, 1.8 ERA. So he gets us that 5-6 again. I think that shows that the Rays are up, or at least in the game still, and doing pretty good. So I have a good feeling about tomorrow.
And you can see here McCullers, I don't know if you guys can see it, but McCullers started game 1 of the ALDS versus the A's, 5 runs, 4 earned. But he did have a strong end of the season when he came back, 2.18 ERA in his final 8 starts. So should be a good pitching matchup tomorrow. But I think we know what's going to happen tomorrow. A little bit more Rays magic. Can the Astros handle the Rays even when McCullers gets chased? And I don't know. I want to see the bats kind of wake up a little bit more after those last 2 games as well. So that's what we'll be looking for. And yes, Joey Hills, no Verlander either. That is the best part about this series for sure.
Yeah. Talking about a guy that can go out and give you 9 any given day. That's one of the few guys left in the league that you can be like, oh man, that guy might go out and put 9 innings against you.
He can give you 18.
Yeah, right. For real. So
you think about it, if you had to face this last year's team this year, you'd have Verlander and Cole at the top of the rotation.
Right.
Neither. So you really don't have the depth in the starting rotation that they had in previous years. So if you're going to catch Houston, this is a good year to catch them, really, because they just have and started at the top of the rotation. They just don't have the talent and the depth that they've had in recent years. So that's good. It's a good thing.
This team is heavily reliant on their bats versus their pitching, which is not quite what you see out of most teams these days. So, and I think that matchup in general favors the Rays, because a lot of times good pitching usually dominates good hitting when it comes from Major League Baseball. So that definitely, and someone asked, is there somebody that you're afraid of in this rotation as far as the pitcher in the Astros? And no, I mean, that's what we're talking about. There's nobody that scares you anymore as far as pitching. So our guys could easily get hot at any time against them. And I feel like we have a much better advantage pitching against their guys and keeping them on their heels.
Yeah, I don't think there's any pitcher that on Houston that you have to be worried about. I think Tampa. I mean, the pitching definitely goes Tampa side on this one. The hitting I think is pretty fair. It's just whose bat's going to wake up. But if you have your pitchers that are keeping you in those 1-run games, because Team Tampa Bay has to always keep it close. So I just want a real good 8-1 game or something. That'd be great.
Yeah. I don't know if that's going to happen. If you look at the left on base, you had Houston with 10, one wrong pitch, and this game goes the other way. And you had the Rays with 9. So we could have got some more too as well. So it goes both ways.
And that's a stat I was just looking at here too, as we're kind of getting towards it. There's about like 1 run on 9 hits for the Astros. You're playing with fire in that department. If you're giving them 9 hits and 10 guys on base, left on base, you're playing with fire. So you definitely got to keep them off base a little bit more. Maybe not strike them out, but you got to keep them off base at least. Make your plays, put the ball in play, get those outs. However you got to get them, but you got to keep them off base more than you did in this first game.
Well, yeah, because we only had 6, didn't we? Wasn't it?
Only 6 hits. Yeah, 6 hits. We had a couple of walks and whatnot. So we had 9 men on base or something like that. So, but yeah, it's something that's very important. I think a telling stat to keep an eye on is you can't keep playing with fire like that with these guys. As good as our pitching is, you're still taking chances, giving them that many opportunities.
And yes, Joey McCullers went to Jesuit. He is a Tampa native. Going up against his Rays tomorrow night in Game 2. So who else we got here in the chat? No, we're not going to do any calls tonight. We're going to keep it pretty brief because we'll have a little bit more time tomorrow with the early start. But shoot us some questions in the chat or give us some funny comments because we're still going to do a star of the chat, at least 1 star of the chat.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
What else you guys see tonight? I mean, it was a pretty straightforward game.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, I missed the hell out of San Diego. Watching these last 2 series being played down there in the Gaslamp district. I don't know how much time you guys spend or if you've ever been out there. That's what I'm saying there. It's watching it makes me want to go so bad. I miss it. It's been almost 4 years. 5 years since I've been out there. So I don't know. That's one thing I know about tonight. San Diego is beautiful and I fucking miss it.
There you go.
Just wouldn't want to put you out in right field there though.
Oh shit.
Watch your head. Watch your head.
Yeah, for sure.
I know. Damn field.
Yeah, but San Diego isn't a city of champions. Just saying. No,
it's definitely not. It's not. But it is a city of great Phillips.
And it's also been a city that the Tampa Bay's had some success in with the Bucks winning the Super Bowl in San Diego.
True that.
So.
Yeah.
Where will they go for the World Series? What's the plan for whoever makes the World Series?
Texas, Ranger Stadium.
Yeah, Arlington. Going to Arlington.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Global White Field or whatever it's called now.
Yeah, it's the new one, right?
Yeah.
Very nice. So we'd see that in action. EL Bushman, what's up, man?
What's up, brother?
Caffeine.
Our Discord guy.
I think Altuve is a child when he comes up to bat. Yeah, I wanna just pick him up and hold him like he's like my little baby.
He's like the opposite of our last series. Every time Stanton and Judge came up, I was like, God, are those guys like freaking giants? No, we got Altuve. I'm like, hey, who let this little leaguer in?
Yeah, you want to
know what I mean? This is the wrong playoffs, little guy.
Yeah, get him a phone book.
Yeah, man. I'm bouncing on my knee. What do you want for Christmas, bro? Trash cans. Oh, shocking.
That's right. Electronic buzzers.
He's the only one that did any damage tonight, though, and you got to watch out for that little.
Oh, for sure.
But we didn't really talk that much about it with Snell's performance. I mean, he ended up only giving up the one run, but a little worse at times. But we've seen that from Snell from time to time. He kept it together, made the pitches when he had to. What did you guys think of his performance? We need him to be strong moving forward, you know?
Yeah, he was fine. He labored. I mean, again, 105 pitches or 5 innings. It gets the job done. Only gave up, one run. So, and that's a good thing. But kept it in the game and held him down. So that's positive. Yeah, it wasn't a swift performance by any stretch, but that's okay.
I mean, that first inning kind of set the tone poorly, in a poor way for him, pitch wise. He came on the second, third, did pretty well, struggled a little bit in the fourth, had a good fifth, so he showed a few innings of him being himself. Again, it's just this team doesn't strike out very much, and so they see the ball really well. A few of the things that he usually puts guys away with, he wasn't quite 100% sharp with, so it led to a few guys getting on base here and there, but I think he did his job, and coming off of short rest, really still, and a high pressure series against the Yankees. I thought he did a really good job personally, compared to, 108 pitches, man. I thought he might have gone 120 tonight, honestly. And that's the other thing I was saying coming into this game too, is I'm a little bit surprised that he kind of came out as I thought they were going to let him go at least another inning. Honestly, even though it was 2-1, I really thought they might have let him go out there for the 6th. But then the commentator made a good call and said, if you're going bat for bat here, you might as well just go ahead and go to the bullpen. And that's what they did. And I think that in the end was the right call. But I thought they might have let him go one more because his defense was definitely backing him up. Snow.
And yes, Joey, Fergs is open. I believe they had a watch party tonight. So probably
there forever.
Yes, it's there. It is there. All right, what else, guys? We'll go around one more time.
Did you see the ceremonial pitch? Who did that today?
I did not.
Did not catch that.
Big game, James Shields.
Oh, nice.
No kidding.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. So you can. He did a nice little tribute to the Rays on their Twitter page too, saying he was throwing it out.
Nice.
It's nice to see.
Man. That was my guy back in the day, dude.
Did you guys see those cutouts of the Team Tampa Bay players that the Rays had out there?
Yeah.
Gronk and Brady, and then Stammer and Cooch.
Yeah, that's funny.
I like Coach Cooper going around to different places here and down.
Yeah, man.
Tricks he brought to the hub. It's pretty.
He needs
cool.
to come to Pinellas County.
Well, wasn't he down at like Anna Maria or whatever, or Sankey somewhere, and he like crashed a bunch of weddings and took
he did.
To like,
Every
like 5 or 6 weddings in one day or something, like maybe 3. I don't know. I thought it was multiple weddings in one day, and he just showed up with a cup to all these wedding receptions and shit. I was like,
that's awesome.
God, why have I been married for 13 years? I should have got divorced and got married again this weekend. Like I got to start thinking ahead of this shit. Like I'm still too far behind.
Renew your vows, man. Renew your vows.
Right. These guys are freaking living.
Today.
You know what to do next time now. And you know what really bothered me about this cardboard cutout is how you going to cut out Stanley.
How are you going to cut out Lord Stanley?
Seriously.
And the other part of his hand.
You can't just kind of give it the outside cut here. Leave Stanley in.
Why didn't you just get the one with him kissing Vinnick and put those two together?
Put them together for the kiss cam. That would have hilarious. Showed a kiss cam.
Four fingers up.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
that's like the worst picture ever of Gronk. Too.
I know. Don't forget Gronk in his awkward-looking team photo.
And the way they have him short, look how tiny his arms look because the way they have it cropped.
I know. He does look tiny.
Tiny arms.
Who's behind them? Is that? Can we tell who these guys are? These baseball?
It's like some kind of like youth all-star.
Yeah, it looks like that, except for the one behind Stammer looks like Jaden Smith. Wilson.
Yeah, right. Kelly looks like he's about 14, but really high.
You see, the military person is like 5 rows back.
Yeah, well,
Social distancing.
they ain't putting anyone in front of the real Brady or cardboard Brady.
That's right. That's right.
But
TB12 gets the front row.
I heard though Brady got he lost track of what inning it was by the 9th inning.
That's
He was
right.
holding up like eight finger. Was it the fourth inning?
I thought I saw he was wearing flip flops for just in case he lost count, so he had his toes as well.
Yeah, extra innings. All right, well, let's just go around one more time and get out of here because we're going to go longer tomorrow with the early game and hopefully a celebratory game 2.
Congratulations to the Lakers real quick on winning the NBA championship.
Yeah, sure. Kobe or whatever. I'm sorry.
Got to mention it's another sport.
Yeah, I didn't even watch a second of the game tonight. I've watched.
I tried.
Playoffs.
I tried. By the time I turned it, they were already up by 30, and I was like, "Oh, there goes that." It was like the second quarter. I was like, second period, quarter, whatever.
Looks like they're burning down the town.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
LA,
I'm sure they are.
They were doing that.
Yeah,
before.
like that. That's like a fucking Tuesday for them. Whatever.
Yeah, just on Sunday now.
Right.
Here's an interesting question I'll put out there for anyone that wants to answer in the chat. I guess I'll let you guys answer too. How would you feel if Orlando and Tampa did a trade-off and they said, all right, you guys can have the Magic for X amount of games if we can have the Rays play here for X amount of games?
Dude, I think that would be dope. That would be way better than a Montreal share. That sounds way better. Like a much better concept. Where did you come up with that? Did you think of that, or did you hear somebody else say that shit?
I said that a long time ago, actually.
Well, how did you? I don't know. You never said that to me. That's the first time you said that to me. So
I like
you must not have thought of it too long ago.
The Tampa Bay Magic. I like it.
oh, it's magic.
Well, then I don't know if you do that. Do you have to change the name to like more of a Florida? Like they used to be the Florida Marlins, right?
Right.
Yeah.
There's no way I want to be called the Central Florida anything.
I was gonna say like the I-4 Rays. What are you gonna call them?
Yeah.
Hey, Victor's in the chat. What's up, my buddy?
What's up, buddy?
Joey, they could play at
you can play Amelie.
Emily, yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, they have had issues there before, though, with the ice and stuff.
Or the Yingling Center.
That's true. They could play over. Yeah, that's true. Over USF.
I think Amelie is your first choice, though. I always think it looks great when they have basketball there, though. I always think it looks really great.
The Final Four, they always have college and stuff. And there was talk before because the Magic owners are cheap. They're similar to the Rays owners. That team was going to move to Tampa. And then it never came into fruition, but
yeah, they were talking about it.
Yeah,
there's a desire for the NBA here in this market. Do you think?
There's a desire for the NBA.
I think the NBA would do good in St. Pete, and the Rays would do good in Tampa.
No, I think
you got to have them all in Tampa. Absolutely. Yeah. First of all, no. You listen. I kind of see what you're saying, Thomas, and I don't want to just be like, oh no, you're dumb, shut up. You have a point, and I think I understand where you're coming from, but it just to me seems like
come over there.
Hey, do it. Make the drive up to Pasco. I dare you. You cross that county line. No, anyways, but really, the downtown area, if you could get a place to bring an NBA team into really the Ybor area, or even like, the USF area, man, it would definitely work way better in that market than in the St. Pete market. Maybe 15 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I think maybe St. Pete would have been the place to go, but it's changed so much that I think Tampa, if you brought a basketball team in, it would have to be somewhere over there in that north, like either downtown Tampa or like north central Tampa area.
So I would say more near Raymond James and Tampa. To get rid of Steinbrenner Field. Put it there.
Well, either that or take out some of those fucking just move some of those fucking dealerships, man. Those car dealerships are in terrible fucking locations. I don't understand. Like the new rant or the Jerry Ohm dealership there on the stadium, that makes sense because that's a huge intersection. But going up Del Mabry between there and Hillsborough, that's like no man's land. I have no idea why those car dealerships are there or how they manage to like make money. It's weird. And it's funny because they were talking about these teams playing in San Diego, and San Diego basically has a road that's called like Mile and Car Way, and that's where the only dealerships are only in this certain stretch of like the San Diego, and like there's all the suburbs and everything, but there's like this one specific area. And most cities I remember I've ever been to are kind of like that. Tampa's one of the few places that they're just kind of like, where the fuck ever I want to put a car dealership, here you go, you know.
Except for Florida, all on 34th Street.
Yeah, see, Florida's where all the used car dealerships are, Florida and Nebraska. But all the new car dealerships are like, yeah, well, this looks good.
Liberty's like car dealers and strip clubs, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And adult bookstores.
Yeah, I heard.
They could fit a baseball stadium in between some of them.
Yeah.
That'd be something that making Steinbrenner Field the Rays home, and then the Rays are like in debt to the Yankees. Like they have to pay to play there. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So we'll start let's like spread word about that.
Let's start tweeting about this shit.
I wonder like how people in Orlando would feel about that. I'm gonna post it tomorrow and see if we can get some comments going.
Yeah, because I think that would be the bigger question. Is there a market for baseball in Orlando? Like, I feel like that it wouldn't be hard to sell basketball.
At Disney's ESPN World Sports, yeah.
Yeah, and they could definitely easily just go play over there. We wouldn't have to really add too much for them there. So, I don't know.
It's even more of a transient area than Tampa Bay. So, it's like, I wonder if that would be – would anybody even give a crap about baseball over there? I don't know.
Exactly. I don't know.
I mean, they drew a lot of fans back when Shaq was with the Magic, but – they really haven't been relevant for a long time, and I don't think they're drawing all that well over there.
They get about 5,000 for the Solar Bears games, but I mean, that could be families' destinations for their Disney and their team. I mean, if you put the Rays there, and it's going to be some kind of series against the Yankees, against Astros, or whoever, and that could be like, hey, let's do a family trip to Disney, let's go to the game to be able to see our team against the Rays. It could work out. A little package there. Orlando likes to bundle stuff together, so
yeah. And a couple years ago they tried it. They did they've done series over in Orlando. In fact, one year they did a couple of them over there. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go look at the attendance of those games whenever.
And the Lightning did the preseason game there in Orlando.
Where did they play that at?
Amway.
Okay. Yeah, that's a.
And it kind of would test the theory I have as well of like, if the Rays have kind of become this team that's been adopted by a lot of out of towners and out of staters, international fans and whatnot. Just because we play against the Yankees and the Red Sox so much, so we kind of have that exposure. And if you did do that, maybe we would get that draw, like Tom's saying, maybe not Orlando natives, but it would give tourists the opportunity to come in more easily, and family-oriented ways to come watch an entire, 3-game series.
Yeah. Well, let's pull everyone tomorrow. We'll talk about the results tomorrow night. But good start to the ALCS. Raise up.
I'll take it
2-1. And we'll see you tomorrow. This has been the 98ers, and we'll leave you with a little Rosarina.
Randy makes you dandy.
No volume.
What kind of rinky-dink operation is this? God, that dude is so buff, though. God, that dude is jacked.